Ethan Walker believed he'd won life's quiet lottery. At 29, he had a growing tech startup, a calm house in Seattle, and a wife who still kissed him on the forehead before he left for work. Her name was Lena Hayes, sharp, funny, and freshly enrolled in a master's program at the university downtown. They were the couple that friends admired, productive, polite, photogenic. Ethan loved how Lena dreamed big. She talked about research, late-night study groups, and how education gave her purpose. He never questioned the nights she came home late, laptop humming, eyes tired but glowing. He just whispered, "You're amazing," and meant it. Love, to him, was trust, and trust was sacred. The first crack came softly, a perfume he didn't recognize, a laugh she reserved for someone else, the way she guarded her phone like a secret. At the university, there was a new lecturer, Dr. Adrian Cole, brilliant, charismatic, barely older than his students. He ran the advanced research seminar Lena joined. When Ethan met him once at a faculty event, Adrian shook his hand too long and smiled too wide. Something inside Ethan stirred. Not anger, not jealousy, just a quiet unease. Weeks blurred into routine. Lena's messages grew shorter, her hugs lighter. At dinner, she scrolled instead of speaking. "Just deadlines," she said. Ethan tried to believe her. He bought her flowers, cooked her favorite Thai noodles, left small notes on her desk. But love cannot fill a void built on secrets. Every gesture met a distracted smile. Every night ended with her turning away first. One rainy Thursday, Ethan stopped by campus with coffee. He saw them before they saw him, through the glass wall of the library's quiet lounge. Lena, leaning forward, laughing softly. Adrian, brushing something from her hair. Too close, too familiar. The world didn't shatter, it simply went silent. Ethan turned, walked away, and sat in his car until the rain blurred everything outside. He didn't confront her. Not yet. Truth, he decided, deserved proof. Ethan was an engineer. Logic was his comfort. That night, he coded a small tracking script tied to her phone's backup account. Location logs, timestamps, messages. Nothing illegal, just the data she had already given to the cloud. Days later, the truth unfolded line by line. Late-night study sessions near hotels, photos saved, deleted, recovered, messages that began innocently and turned intimate. He read them all, emotionless. Pain would come later. For now, he collected silence, like a weapon. He still smiled at breakfast, still said, "I love you," still waited for her at night. But his eyes no longer searched for answers. They observed patterns. Lena, oblivious, began to act freer. She spoke of academic pressure, of needing space. He nodded, supported, and noted every lie with quiet precision. Inside, he built his plan, not for confrontation, but for erasure. Ethan started withdrawing in ways she couldn't name. No fights, no cold shoulders, just distance wrapped in politeness. He worked later, traveled more, left her to her own freedom. When she texted, he replied kindly, but vaguely. Soon, she grew anxious, the kind of anxiety that blooms when attention disappears. She tried harder, laughed louder, asked questions she never cared about before. He responded softly, "You're tired. Focus on your studies." She mistook kindness for ignorance. That was exactly what he wanted. Months passed. One morning, Ethan placed a single envelope on her desk. Inside, a divorce agreement. No accusations, no photos, just his signature and one sentence. Some promises end the day they're broken. She stared at it for minutes before whispering, "Ethan, I can explain." He smiled gently. "I know," he said, and walked out. No shouting, no tears, just the sound of the front door closing. Final. Absolute. Lena tried to move on, but whispers spread on campus. Quiet, precise, untraceable. Students avoided her lab sessions. Rumors of favoritism, impropriety, leaked emails. She never found the source, because Ethan left no trace. Only silence, and a perfectly timed chain of anonymous academic complaints that exposed her plagiarism in a side project. Her fellowship was revoked. Adrian distanced himself immediately. Her name faded from the department website within a month. Ethan never gloated. He never posted, never messaged, never mentioned her again. He rebuilt his life quietly. Morning runs, long workdays, peace. But sometimes, late at night, he replayed her laughter from the library in his mind, not out of longing, but as a reminder. That trust, once shattered, doesn't need revenge screamed in public. It only needs absence. A year later, Lena appeared at one of Ethan's product launches. Her eyes were tired, her clothes simple. When she finally gathered the courage to speak, her voice trembled. "I lost everything," she said. "Career, friends, myself." Ethan looked at her, calm, unshaken. "I never wanted you to lose," he replied softly. "I just needed to stop losing myself." She began to cry. He didn't comfort her. He simply nodded and walked away. Months later, a journalist asked Ethan how he stayed composed after personal betrayal. He smiled slightly. "Revenge doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just stops giving attention." That quote went viral. Lena read it on her cracked phone screen, sitting in a cheap apartment miles from the university that had erased her name. She tried to reach out once more. No reply. Ethan's silence was the loudest message she'd ever heard, and the one that would echo for the rest of her life.